You've been scrolling wellness videos for weeks. Energy drinks used to work. Coffee stopped. Now there's just this afternoon fog that won't lift, and you're wondering if something's actually wrong with your body. What if the answer isn't a new supplement, it's a soup your grandmother never taught you how to make? That's Chinese herbalism. That's what this is. Here's what nobody tells you. Chinese herbal medicine, what TCM practitioners call traditional Chinese medicine, or TCM, didn't come from one person or one time. It came from 2,000 years of watching what works in the kitchen. 2,000 years of Chinese families simmering the same herbs, the same way, because they work. This isn't ancient mystery. It's not something that got lost and rediscovered. Herbalism is just what Chinese people did when someone in the family got sick or tired or couldn't sleep. They had a system, a way of understanding what each herb does and why you'd put it in the pot. That system worked so well it's still here. The thing that surprises most Westerners, TCM didn't disappear when modern medicine arrived. In China, in Taiwan, in the diaspora, the two exist side by side. Your doctor might be a biomedical doctor. Your grandmother is still making tonic soup. And they're not fighting. They're both there. So how did this happen? Herbal medicine in China developed because people had to solve real problems. Tired? Weak digestion? Can't sleep? No antibiotics. No prescriptions. You worked with what you had, herbs, roots, barks, seeds that grew around you. And over centuries, herbalists documented everything. They weren't guessing. These weren't folk remedies. Herbalists in classical China wrote down exactly what each herb did, which organ pathways it travels through, when to use it, which direction it moves energy in your body. The texts still exist. Practitioners still use them. By the time China got its first modern hospitals in the early 1900s, herbal medicine was already so deeply embedded in daily life that it didn't compete with biomedicine. They coexisted. Chinese doctors trained in both. Families used herbs at home and saw doctors when they needed to. This is important. TCM isn't a replacement for your doctor. It never was. It's a practice that runs alongside regular medicine. When you get sick, you go to your doctor. When you're tired, when you're recovering, when you want to build energy or sleep better, you make a soup. This is kitchen support, not a prescription. Talk to your doctor for anything serious. When Chinese people emigrated, to Southeast Asia, to North America, to Europe, they brought the herbs with them. They couldn't bring the doctors, so they brought what they could grow and store and pass down. The soups. The tea. The understanding. My grandfather was a Cantonese herbalist in southern China. He practiced herbalism formally for over 30 years. But what I learned from him wasn't from a textbook, it was from watching my grandmother make soup every Sunday. The same herbs, the same way, for the same reason. And that soup is still the clearest medicine I've ever felt work on my own body. Here's what shifted for me. I stopped thinking of herbs as medicine and started thinking of them as food. That's what they are in the tradition. Not pills. Not prescriptions. Food that does something. Goji is food. Astragalus is food. The understanding of what each one does, that's what you inherit. The reason this practice survived 2,000 years, across empires, across continents, alongside every other medical system, is that it solves real problems. Your afternoon crash. Your sleep. Your digestion. The energy you need to move through a regular week. These are things a soup can meet. If you're pregnant, breastfeeding, on medication, or dealing with anything serious, check with your doctor before adding new herbs to your routine. But if you're just looking for something that's worked for 2,000 years in ordinary kitchens, if tired is your problem and you've tried everything else, this is the thing to try. The first soup is the hardest. After that, you need maybe 5 minutes in a pot. That's it. But because I know you're new to this, we made a book called Chinese Soups in 7 Days, the complete beginner guide that walks you from your first goji and ginger broth all the way to a daily kitchen practice. It has 30 essential everyday herbs explained, real family recipes, and the reasoning behind each one. Everything is linked in the description below. If you want to know the one thing that changed how I use these soups, or if you have a question about where to start, drop a comment. And subscribe if you want the next one. That's the real practice right there.